Grayson Musolane. I'm going in there. They're probably going to win it. Screw it. I'm still going to TCU. I guess I could look at it that way. But then again, there are some other solid schools around, Texas. And shoot, UW offered me a scholarship. I go over there. So I don't know. I would just look at other schools. Torrance Gibson, other types. I don't know. Let's move on. Again, we'll talk about college football playoff championship next Monday. Be ready for that show. I'm excited for that. Now, today we're going to talk about some NFL news, and that's the New Orleans Saints. They signed veteran running back Tim Hightower. Remember his name? To a reserve futures contract, giving him a chance to reboost his career after having a lingering knee injury, according to a league source. Hightower is 28. He hasn't played since undergoing ACL surgery back in 2011. The former Arizona Cardinals and Washington Redskins starter tried to come back with the Redskins in 2012, but didn't discover until the fall of 2013 that he had an infection that was hurting his recovery and his knee. Hightower worked out for the Saints in November before they opted to sign, check this out, Brian Leonard instead as a short-term injury replacement. But now they go back to Hightower, and he will be, hopefully coming back. And I like that. I like that. Reserved future contract. I've never really heard that too much going around. But I do like that now that they're giving him a chance. Also, paying him, giving him a living as well. And now, he's going to be a motivated person. And that's what you want on your team. You want a lot of motivated guys. And 28, you're as a running back, and especially with the injuries he's had, he's on his, I guess what most people look at as a downhill, career now, because it's starting to go downhill, or, not really, you can't go back in your prime. But we saw what Adrian Peterson did. Pretty solid there. So, Hightower, I'm not saying he's going to produce a 2,000-yard, running back, but he could come in, third down type of guy. You mix him in every now and then with Pierre Thomas and Mark Ingram. He could help you out on third specific situations. So I think it's an awesome signing. Moving on, strong safety Troy Polamalu and outside linebacker James Harrison acknowledged that each has uncertain future after the Saturday's 30-17 loss to the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC wildcard round. Polamalu still has 2 years left on his contract, but the 12-year veteran admitted that it was fair to question whether he had played his last NFL game, saying, quote, "Yes, it is, and time will tell." Now, when he said yes, it is, doesn't mean yes, it is his last game. It's just saying, he's going to think about it. Polamalu was the last player out of the Steelers locker room after Saturday night's game at Heinz Field and said it's too soon to ponder the future. Said, quote, "Honestly, we just lost the game. I don't think I'm prepared to even think about that or talk about." Oh, whoa, I mixed it up. Even think about it or talk about that at this time. Okay, I did say it right the first time. Whatever. And then James Harrison reestablished himself as the Steelers' best pass rusher, recording 5.5 sacks in 11 games, coming out of retirement and just doing that, 5.5 sacks, just like that. Especially early in those first couple games when he was just tearing up offensive lines. Harrison does turn 37. Polamalu turns 34 pretty soon. But Harrison said he is intrigued of the idea of returning to the Steelers next season if they want to bring him back, saying, quote, "You never want to end on a loss. You want to go out kissing the Lombardi trophy. We'll see. I'm not going to answer a question about the future right now because I'm not in the right mind frame." And I like that. I like that a lot. These guys are veterans. They know they've been through this before. They know how to do this. They know how to really just think about everything. So, I like the answers that they gave. And also, Harrison's already been through this as he's already retired. And saying, hey, I produced pretty well, but, Steelers still need a little help. And if they can get a couple more pass rushers, a big nose tackle, Harrison could, easily get another 6 to 7 sacks next season, which is not bad being 37 at that time. Really isn't. So, and he's still the heart of that team. He's still that leader, that motivator on that team for the younger guys to say, hey, I'm still going to play with James Harrison next season. That motivates them, which, again, you want motivators on your team. You want people to be motivated because most of the time when you're motivated, you're ready to go. And when you're ready to go, you're you can win. That I was gonna make a whole like speech and everything, but I kind of just couldn't make it. But anyways, I hope both of them do come back. But if not, first ballot Hall of Fame for each of these players, and it's gonna be exciting to hopefully still see them play. If not, then we're gonna be seeing I wouldn't say a new Steelers defense, because we've seen them without them, obviously with James Harrison, missing those first 5 games or whatever. And Troy Polamalu, he only played 12 games this year, and he's had some injuries before in the past couple seasons where we've seen the Steelers defense, what it's like without both of these players. And honestly, the secondary was so bad, it really didn't make a difference with both of them. But you never know. Full offseason together again. Maybe it will, or maybe they do that. They take a break, not really doing the early training camp type stuff, and mainly just being out there watching, again, motivating, seeing the other younger guys, still studying, watching film and whatnot, and then getting into training camp a little bit later, not playing all of the preseason games, resting them up basically. You never know. And speaking about, or we really didn't talk about sitting on a bench, but check this out. How would you like, for all people out there, how would you like to be at a football game? First of all, raise your hand. That's me. How about being on the field? That's even better, right? How about having an actual uniform and being an NFL player? That's even great, right? How about sitting on the bench? You're still getting paid, and you're making a whole lot of money. Well, that is exactly what Panthers defensive end Greg Hardy is doing. So even though he's on the commissioner's exempt list and awaiting a jury trial after being found guilty by a district court judge on a domestic violence charge, he has made an extra $48,000 for Carolina's playoff win Saturday over the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, you heard that right. On the bench, not playing, not in uniform, but $48,000 for watching your team win a playoff game. The $48,000 is the money that each Panther players make in the playoff shares, because Hardy's on the commissioner's exempt list. He's entitled to his playoff share as well. So he still gets it even though he's not playing. Players on the exempt list are entitled to a full playoff share, so Hardy's continuing to cashing in despite his legal troubles. And if he's smart, he probably tries to pay, his lawyers or whatever to just get the less time or clear himself, whatever he's got to do to get back in the league. And should Carolina win somehow in Seattle, Greg Hardy will make another $44,000. And if somehow the Carolina Panthers were to win the Super Bowl, again, he would not be playing, he would make another $97,000. Bam. Just like that. $97,000. I mean, I don't see them beating Seattle, but wow. $48,000 to sit on the bench, and another $44,000 to sit on the bench, and then possibly $97,000 to sit on the bench again. And I don't know if you're really good at Super Bowl ring. I don't know if it'd be like that Brandy Browner situation where he still got a ring even though he missed a later part of the season and the entire playoffs and the Super Bowl, but he still got a ring because he was part of the roster. If the Panthers, get that offense going, and that defense plays the way it did, even though the Cardinals' offense was terrible, we could be seeing, a Super Bowl team. So, anyways, but check this out. Last thing, Greg Hardy's been paid $11.5 million in 15 weeks he has spent on the commissioner's exempt list. Yes, you heard that right. I did not stutter. I did not switch some numbers. $11.5 million in 15 weeks at home. That sounds nice. That sounds amazing to me. I'm pretty sure it sounds amazing to you, but I need someone out there to tell me. I need someone to tell me out there. That is crazy. Greg Hardy. I don't know how you did it, man. I don't know how you did, because if I did anything you did, I'm a nobody right now. So I'd straight go to jail. Never, ever, nobody would ever hear my name. The show wouldn't be going right now. And I definitely would not have made $11.5 million in 15 weeks. I'd be lucky to make $11.50 in 15 weeks or 15 months, whatever it may be. I don't know how jail works. I'm just saying. Whatever. But check this out. Another crazy. If that didn't blow your mind, this will blow your mind as well. According to sources in the Bills draft room, former Buffalo head coach Doug Marrone clearly was not happy about trading up for wide receiver Sammy Watkins. First of all, let that just sit in your head a little bit. Let that just marinate in your head. He wasn't happy that the Bills traded up to draft Sammy Watkins. Now, real quick, I'm going to skip a couple things, and I'm going to go straight to it. I'm not going to say what the Bills gave up for it, and if you remember, just clear that out of your head. Just think your team drafted Sammy Watkins, and this is what he did for your team. 65 catches, 982 yards, and 6 touchdowns in 16 games. He played all of them. He had some injuries, but he played all 16 games. Your team goes 9-7, your first winning record since 2004. Your rookie with no quarterback. Remember, who were the Bills' quarterbacks the entire 16 games? You had E.J. Manuel, who was just terrible, and then you had Kyle Orton, who came out of retirement and has now retired again. Really not that good, but hey, he did pretty solidly for you. Bam. Rookie wide receiver Sammy Watkins, 982 yards, 18 yards shy of 1,000 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Basically, you didn't have a really good quarterback at all the entire year. And he did that. So you were still upset that your team traded up, and this is where I'm going to go back to the story now. This is what happened. Doug Marrone was not in favor of the Bills surrendering a future first-round pick to the Cleveland Browns in that trade that did not involve a quarterback. I can understand where he's upset. Bills needed a quarterback, as we saw this year. It could have gone a little bit further and probably would have made the playoffs had they had a quarterback, because if you go 9-7 without a quarterback, I'm pretty sure with a solid quarterback, you could have made that 11-5, possibly 12-4. Who knows? Anyways, let's move on. There are different accounts of how exactly unhappy Marrone was, with some sources recalling he stormed out of the room and other sources simply saying he just walked out the room. In all, the Bills traded the number 9 overall pick for first and fourth round picks in 2015 to the Browns in order to move up 4 spots to select Sammy Watkins. And again, 65 catches, 982 yards, 6 touchdowns, played all games, had some injuries, but still played all games. That's a warrior. And he posted your first winning record since 2004. This head coach, Doug Marrone, you are... I'm going to be nice. I'm going to relax after just about going through all of that, learning some crazy things. I'm going to relax. Doug Marrone, you're pretty dumb. You leave this team after having a winning record, first time since 2004 again. You have a stud at wide receiver. You got some pretty good players at wide receiver. Some underrated guys. Running back, it's been up and down for you. Your defense is one of the best in the NFL. Again, I believe this back-to-back years they've been in top 3 in sacks, if not number 1 in sacks. That's awesome. Pretty young guys out there as well. All you need to do is just draft a quarterback. That's it. That's all you have to do. And yeah, you don't have a first-round pick, but what's to say you can't trade C.J. Spiller? What's to say you can't trade... I don't know, somebody. You can't trade somebody. Make some type of deal out there to get a first round pick and just get in the first round, first of all. And then maybe use your way because, you are a professional in the NFL. You are in head management. That's who your guys are. That's why they're there. Let them do the talking. Trade up in the draft, and you never know. You might be somewhere where you could possibly get. I think Marcus Mariota is gone in the first pick, and the Buccaneers are definitely not letting that one go, especially to the Bills. They don't have anything, but just say maybe you get Jameis Winston, who showed a lot of maturity in the game against Oregon. Then had some bad things happen his way, but when a running back fumbles 3 or 4 times, you can't really do anything about that. When receivers that the ball is right at you and it gets tipped up or they can't catch it and it's intercepted, that is not your fault. Jameis Winston showed a lot of maturity. Really did. Give much credit to him. So, with that, you need a quarterback. That's it. You need a quarterback. Trade E.J. Manuel. Maybe to the Buccaneers. Maybe they'll say, hey, we can work something with him. You could end up with the first pick. Trade him and C.J. Spiller over there. Get a first-round draft pick and get like a 6 or something out of it as well. Bam, you end up with the number 1 spot. And hey, Marcus Mariota to Sammy Watkins, touchdown Buffalo Bills. That sounds pretty nice to me. This is probably a stretch, but